Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's Burn and Final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's final video. Day 10 will take us to the 26th of May and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the GFS and ECM Ensembles. Maybe around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS feed till at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, that will get us towards the middle phase of June. I shall get on that for you in a moment. Just to say that first video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we've also released the EC 30-day forecast for the UK and for the rest of Europe as well. So please check out those two vids if you like to do that. Like, share and subscribe on the video. Thank you so very much everybody for doing that, and I hope you're having a lovely Tuesday as well. Right, let's start off with CT then, as always. So central temperature is now sitting at 12.3, which is just 1.1 degree above 61.9 average. That is provisional to yesterday, the 15th of May. That will probably carry on ticking down a little bit more over the next day or two. May should start to rise probably by the end of the week and the weekend. These are the GFS upper temperature Precipitation Ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at Belfast today over in Northern Ireland. So we're starting off a little bit cooler than average at the moment, but you see the trend is going to be upwards over the next week or so. So temperatures will start to lift up, both upper air temperature and surface temperature becoming a little bit warmer by the weekend. Then we see the upper air temperature begin to fall back a little bit actually as we go into the beginning of next week, but the trend is very much upwards then through the final week of May and just into the opening part of June. You will notice the thick green line, which is today's GFS midnight operational run, becomes not exactly a warm outlier, but certainly like at the very warmest end of the range, has gone off on quite a warm tangent this morning, or it did do this morning. So I'll show you that in a moment, but please bear in mind that the charts you're going to see a little bit later on are, at the warmest end of the range. Nevertheless, though, there is a warming trend. You can see that from the white line, which is the ensemble mean. That's clearly lifting up above the 30-year average. So, yes, it does look as though the final week or so of May will see some significantly warmer weather. Now, precipitation-wise, it's also looking relatively dry as well. There are precipitation spikes from start to finish within this ensemble graph. They're not going to be completely plain sailing. There will be some showers coming through at times. However, that is, for Belfast, next to the Atlantic, that is quite a dry ensemble, to be honest. So it does look as though things will be turning warmer and drier through the second half of May, as we've been highlighting in our videos recently. Temperature anomalies from the 16th to 24th of May. Still a little bit below average down south, still a little bit above average up in the north. Not a particularly big deviation. Our precipitation anomalies from 16th to 24th May, they're coming out drier than average. The latest info map from earth.nullschool.net shows that we're sitting next to an area of high pressure today, just to the west of the UK and Ireland. Around that, we're bringing in this relatively cool-ish sort of west-northwesterly wind. Right, so this Anomalies UK Europe run is looking for midnight on Friday with high pressure reaching through the south. Should be a lot of dry weather there. Could be a little bit showery further north. Over the weekend, the ridge is maintained, so should be quite a bit of dry weather over the weekend. Temperatures becoming a little bit warmer as well. By the beginning of next week, we're back into a rather cooler northwesterly, possibly bring some showers back into the north and the west in particular. But still really high pressures in control. Icon, again, with that nice ridge of high pressure in the country on Friday. That ridge maintained into the weekend as well. Should be a lot of dry and quite warm weather over the weekend. Early part of next week, we maintain the ridge in from off the Atlantic. Yes, it could be a little bit showery at times up in the far north and northwest, but basically high pressure is in control up to midday next Tuesday, when we've had to start to bring in a little bit more of a showery west-northwesterly wind into the north, but still basically fundamentally high pressure in control. Now, that GFS midnight run, you're going to see the first sort of eye candy summer charts here, so get ready. Here we go then. This is Friday. Again, nice ridge of high pressure building up from the southwest as we go into the weekend. Again, high pressure bringing quite a bit of dry weather to most parts of the country. That maintained into the early part of next week as well, with this nice ridge extending in from off the Atlantic. The ridge maintained up toward day 10, and in fact starting to strengthen and move in over top of the country. So by day 10, which is the 26th of May, we are under a large area of high pressure. Now look where that high pressure goes. Beyond that, it sort of builds over and to the east of the country. Upper air temperatures looking very warm to our south. If we start pulling up a southeasterly, we're going to tap in to some of that warmth. So this is Sunday 28th May. We're 300 hours away now. But this is a classic sort of chart for the summer. High pressure over to the east of the country, drawing up what looks like a very warm, potentially even quite hot southeast wind, but plus 15 Celsius iceberg is into northern parts of France. Only will take a slight adjustment, start bringing that a little bit further northwards. The high pressure still maintained to Monday the 29th. This is the bank holiday weekend, of course. Wow, wow, wow. And I reckon with those upper air temperatures, we will probably see the temperature get into mid-20s Celsius, maybe a bit higher than that, possibly for the south and southeast into the upper 20 Celsius with that maybe. So going into the 80s Fahrenheit patch for the first time this year with the GFS midnight run. Bear in mind it is a bit of an outlier. Again, I wouldn't necessarily say it's an outlier, but you can see on the graph it is like the warmest ensemble member really, and whilst there are several going in the same direction, most of them don't go to the same extreme, so it probably is an outlier. Right at the very end of the GFS midnight run, it gets us to the first day of June today. The high pressure still maintained over and straight to the north of the country. Winds coming in from the east should be still generally mostly dry and warm. What a run that was. Okay, this is the GFS 00z. Again, the high pressure is strengthening and building through the country over the weekend into the early part of next week. That high pressure just pulls out to our west, slightly allows something a little bit cooler and more showery in from the Atlantic through the early part of next week, but still really high pressure dominating a lot of the time, so should be plenty of dry weather as we're going into the medium range, which gets up to day 10. This is just beyond day 10 to Saturday the 27th of May. Still a reach through the country, but nowhere near as warm with that scenario as the midnight run. However, high pressure is still well and truly in control. That's Saturday the 28th of May. Its position is a little bit different, so we're bringing more of an easterly rather than a southerly southeasterly, but nevertheless, it's still mostly dry and warm for the bank holiday weekend. Beyond that, maybe a hint of a bit of a thundery breakdown from the south there, but still basically high and dry up to the beginning of June, and lots of fine weather, plenty of warm weather too. Looks like we have an extended spell of dry and warm conditions on the way. If you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Why not drop a comment? Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. We thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. We need to put on around 85 subscribers now. No, I think it's a little bit less than that. I think about 77, sorry. I think we need to put on around 77, 78 subscribers now to get ourselves to 15.9k. So if you could give us a sub, that would be amazing. Tell your friends and family to subscribe. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. GM, again, with high pressure reaching up from the southwest into Western Europe on Friday, brings lots of dry and warm weather. That high pressure maintained through the weekend and into the early part of next week, but maintaining a little bit more showery by the middle of next week. Some low pressure in the Atlantic and over the continent could just bring something a little bit more showery maybe for the middle of next week, but fundamentally the high pressure is back in by day 10, so a lot of dry and quite warm weather with that. And then the ECM again looking mainly dry, quite warm into the weekend, possibly a bit showery and cooler early next week with winds going in to more of a northwesterly direction. And out of all output, I think for next week, but ECM probably the coolest and most showery. Again, it's mostly dry both down in the south and the southwest, but is a little bit more showery up in the north. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Temp.com. Lots of dry weather to come over the next few days. Turning a little bit showery towards the end of the week, maybe, but basically high pressure keeps things dry till we get to the beginning of next week. Then there could be some showers, particularly you'll notice for more northern regions. These are the options on the table within the ECM Ensembles today for day 10. from the Icelandic Met Office. This will get us to the 26th of May. 21 members of the ECM Ensemble, including the operational run, with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the west-southwest, so just a little bit on the showery side, especially so for more northern regions. 17 with a much stronger ridge from the southwest up to the northwest, so that brings lots of dry and quite warm weather, and also 13 here with high pressure dominating over and slightly to the west of the country, low pressures away to the north. So if we put the 17 together with the 13, then actually the majority option is for quite a strong and stable ridge of high pressure at day 10. And this 21 scenarios or options, they are a little bit of a minority actually within the ECM ensembles. In true time, these are the options that we got. This goes to the 31st of May, last day of the month and the last day of meteorological spring. 23 members of the ECM ensemble still have high pressure from Scandinavia to the north of Scotland, bringing wind from the east, from an easterly direction. That's dry and warm. 15 with high pressure right over top of the country, again mostly dry and warm, and 13 with high pressure ridging through the country and up to the northeast. Low pressure is away to the northwest, and the wind and jet stream is something a little bit like that. Most of the options look like they're involving high pressure at day 10 and day 14. A warm and dry end to May looks likely. CFS Weeklies finally meets a 500 millibar height anomalies, breaking down into week periods. The first week period will take us from 16th to 22nd of May. The coming week we'll have high pressure ridging in from the Atlantic into Northern Europe, mostly dry and warm. Week 2 is going to be the 23rd to the 29th of May. High pressure right over top of the country and into Northern Europe. Again, that should bring lots of dry and warm weather with it. Week 3 is going to be the 30th of May to the 5th of June. High pressure to the north of Scotland, mostly dry, quite warm. Winds in from an easterly direction as well. And then week 4, rounding it all up, high pressure as goes on. It's the 6th to the 12th of June. High pressure is to our north. And again, we bring the wind in from the east, so looking mostly dry and warm in the 4th week as well. Prolonged dry and warm spell setting up. Wow, what an update. If you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Why not drop a comment, let us know what you think about this, all of our videos, and don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. We thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. Okay, I'll just tell you what's coming up tomorrow. We're going to start off with the 6 AM UK weather forecast. We've got the extended European outlook on the... No, we've got the extended USA forecast. Done the extended European outlook today. What am I talking about? We've got the extended USA forecast coming up tomorrow. And also 10 to 14 day as well. You enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and for this video, that's all for now, and thanks so much.